guys. Welcome to our Wednesday night shiur. Tonight, the 29th of Tammuz. It's the yortzeit of maybe the most celebrated, the most amazing, the greatest teacher of all the Jewish people. And I'm saying it specifically like that because, sometimes we call rabbis kadosh. They're holy. We call Ari HaKadosh, Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh. There's a couple we call kadosh. Okay, they're kadosh. Kubalim. There are some rabbis we call tzaddikim. Yosef HaTzaddik, Noach Ish Tzaddik. But Rashi we call Rabbeinu. He's our teacher. Welcome, guys. We just started. We just started. Rashi we call Rabbeinu, our teacher. And the reason we call Rashi Rabbeinu, our teacher, because the word Rashi, the acronym, besides for standing for his name, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, it also stands for Rabban Shel Yisrael, the rabbi of all the Jewish people. What does that mean, the rabbi of all the Jewish people? We don't have other rabbis, we have Tosafot, we have the Rosh, we have the Rif. In fact, you guys don't know this, but many, many years ago, people wouldn't learn Gemara. Sfaradim wouldn't learn Gemara. There was no Gemara. What they used to learn? The Rif. Rabbi Yitzhak Alfasi. Why? What's the point of going through all the arguments if I'm just here to learn halakha? What was the Gemara made for? To learn halakha. So why go through all the arguments? So the Rif cut out all the arguments, and what did he leave? The halakha. For hundreds of years, close to 300 years in Spain. 300 years. And Spain was one of the 4 epicenters of Judaism. One of the 4 epicenters. It used to be a long time ago, Rabotai, Judaism was only in one place. Bavel, Iraq. There was no yeshivot anywhere. There's a famous story, they say. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to disperse Judaism throughout the world, because it was impossible for there only to be 2 yeshivot in the whole world. That's how it was. Imagine in the whole world there's 2 yeshivot, all in Israel. No other place they would be learning Torah. They would have to get Sidurim, everything from Bavel. Imagine. So what did Hashem do? Just like today we have rabbis that go out of nowhere to collect money for the yeshivot, back then there was also. So Hashem decided one day to put in the head of the Rosh Yeshiva to pick the 4 brightest guys in the whole yeshiva to go collect money, which is in itself something crazy. Why? Why would you send the 4 bright? Who do you send to collect money? One that's meant to be a salesman, one that's good in making money, one that likes money. You're sending a guy who doesn't like money to collect money. Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense. Like you're sending a guy to do a certain. You have a talent to be a lawyer, and you're going to learn to be a doctor. But Hashem did it on purpose. It's written in the book of the Sefer HaKabbalah of Rabbi Avraham Zachuta, Shalshelet HaKabbalah, that Hashem put 4 rabbis in a ship from these 2 yeshivot in Iraq, in Bavel, to collect money, and pirates came. Remember a couple of years ago there was this whole thing with the pirates off of the coast of Africa that were coming and killing and plundering? Back then it was a normal thing. That's why, if you guys realize in the Gemara, in the halakha, it says 4 people have to say Birkat HaGomel. Which one of those guys is who? One that goes on a boat. What's the problem of going on a boat? Because back then people used to go on the boat. They used to write gifts for their wife. It was like going to war. Why? You go on the boat, you don't know if you're coming back. The Rambam, R.Shalom, his brother, Rabbi David, he went on the boat, never came back. The Rambam set Shiva for 12 months on his brother. 12 months. He loved him so much. He said, I never recuperated from my brother's death. I never recuperated from my brother's death. He was a diamond merchant too. So these 4 rabbis went on a boat to collect money. And where do you collect money? Who do you go to when you collect money? To the Ashkenazim. So they go to Europe. Boat to Europe. There was no America back then. Amen. How to collect money? Pirates come and they capture these 4 rabbis. Now what are you going to do with 4 old men? You sell them off as what? Slaves. the Jews had a plus back then. Anyone who couldn't be used as labor would be used as billing, accounting, money. The Jews had a good head. Why? One of my rabbis once told me, the whole geometry, all of math is in Masechet Sukkah and Masechet Eruvin. You want to learn math? Rabbi Eliyahu Gaon Mevilna. There's a certain law called Kramer's law. You know who Kramer's law is? That's the Rabbi Eliyahu Gaon Mevilna. His last name is Kramer. Rabbi Eliyahu Kramer. There's a law named after him. He said that he didn't know what to do when he was in the bathroom. When the Gaon Mevilna passed away, he asked himself one question. He asked himself a question. He had a notebook. He used to write how many hours a day he learned Torah. How many minutes, a day he used to learn Torah. When he passed away, he saw all of his life, he only missed 12 minutes of learning Torah. Do you know what that means? 12 minutes of learning Torah. When he was in jail, he was put in jail, he was so strict in learning Torah, so strict. The Gemara says you're not allowed to sleep outside the sukkah. So he was put in jail when? Conveniently? On Sukkot. What did he do? He took there was no clips. He took 2 pins and he nailed his eyelids to the top of his eye so he wouldn't fall asleep inside the jail, because you're not allowed to sleep outside the sukkah. And Sukkot he did that. Why? He was so observant in the mitzvah, so connected to the mitzvah. That's what he did. He took 2 nails and he stuck it on top of his eye so he wouldn't fall asleep outside the sukkah. That's why he became Rabbi Eliyahu Gaon Mevilna. When he was, this is not a shiur in the Gaon Mevilna, but if I'm already speaking about him, I have to say, you know why our Shas is called Vilna Shas? The Vilna Shas. You know why? He took over 100 different manuscripts, of the Gemara. Because you have to understand, everything back then was written by hand. There was a lot of contradictions. And he cross-referenced 100 different Shases. And that's how we have the Vilna Shas. Could you imagine it?
So that's not the arrangement. That's the final. That's the
final thing, because, for example, a lot of times in halachot we have, for example, is there avelut during a chag? During chag. Does chag cancel out avelut itself? It doesn't cancel that out. If a person is an avel during chag, he has to keep 3 things at least. What are they? He has to keep Devarim Shabbat Tzina, Talmud Torah, Tashmish Hamita, and Rechitza. He has to keep 3. Rambam had a Gemara that said, you don't keep any of these things. Regel is mevatel et hakol. It's a Beit Yosef. What does the Beit Yosef says? The Rambam had a different shas than us. He uses that a lot. How he knew that? Only a rabbi with a magid can say that. We don't know how he knew that, but he says the Rambam had a different shas than us. Because you open up our shas, clearly it says in the regel, during the 3 regalim, Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot, is there avelut or no?
No.
It is. There is avelut, but tzina. Hidden one. Tashmish Hamida, Rechitza, and Talmud Torah. Rechitza is washing yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So they had different the Vilna Gaon took 100 different shas and he cross-referenced them to create what we have today, a clean shas. Unbelievable. You have to have a mind. They said when he was 11 years old. This is a true story, because it's not unbelievable. When he was 11 years old, the Vilna Gaon, it was the night before Shavuot, and he was sitting at home and his father invited guests. I said this in my Shabbat shiur. I reveal a lot of things in my Shabbat shiur which I don't do in my Wednesday night shiurs. Why? Because it's not live. I'm going to reveal it today. For a person who wants to have a baby boy, what is he supposed to do for a baby boy? So there is the famous sigula of Mayim Acharonim Chova. Many people don't do Mayim Acharonim. Did you know that women also have to do Mayim Acharonim? Now you know. So women also do Mayim Acharonim. Halacha is halacha. Women are exempt from Mayim Acharonim. Women have to do Mayim Acharonim.
Is it the actual saying?
It doesn't mean you have to go with a shotgun in your house and like, women do Mayim Acharonim. No, that's not what it means.
Is it the actual saying?
It means you have to say very nicely, women are also obligated Mayim Acharonim. Why Mayim Acharonim is a sigula for a baby boy? Why? Rav Tzion Bracha used to say, what's Mayim Acharonim? Back in the day, there was something called, they used to make salt from a place that was known as Sodom Amorah. Remember, God destroyed Sodom Amorah, Sodom and Gomorrah?
Just to be clear, manhurim means after you eat bread, rukim.
That's nice.
So, Sodom, and what's left of that place? Sulfur. Sulfur and salt. Now the Gemara says that salt, if it goes into your eyes, could do what to you? It could blind you. So what would they do before you do Birkat Hamazon? Mayim Acharonim. Hova? Do Mayim Acharonim. The Gemara says, Mayim Acharonim Hova, Mayim Emtsaim Reshut. Before you eat meat and fish, after you eat fish and Shabbat, and after you eat meat. If you ate with your hands, for example, you have to do something called Mayim Emtsaim. You have to wash your hands in between. But Nitilat Yadayim, it said Mayim Emtsaim Reshut. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, it's good. Mayim Acharonim Chova. Nitilat Yadayim Harag Ben Adam. If you don't do Nitilat Yadayim, you can kill a person. Why? Back in the day, in Jerusalem, they weren't allowed to sell kosher meat. Kosher meat, haram. If you would sell kosher meat, echad dato lahamit, they will kill you. The Romans.
How they know?
How would they know? They would see a guy with a kosher butcher knife. So what happened? How would the Jewish owner know to give the kosher meat to the Jewish guy and the non-kosher non-Jewish guy if he would see the guy doing Nitilat Yadayim? One time, it's Gemara, it's written in the story. One time, a guy forgot to do Nitilat Yadayim. So what did he serve him?
Delivery.
Not just telefoi, chazir. He served him. Why? Because the Romans, they like chazir. The Gemara says, one animal, not the Gemara says, I take that back, it's a midrash. The midrash says, and one animal in the future, atid lachzor. You know what atid lachzor means? In the future, it's going to come back to us. What is that? Chazir. Why? From the name. What is the name? Chazir. What does the word chazir come from? Lachzor. What's lachzor mean? To come back. It means it was originally supposed to be kosher and it will come back to us. In fact, which rabbi writes this down? The Or HaChaim HaKadosh. There are many rabbis disagree. They said this midrash doesn't exist. Where is he taking this stuff from? Because we know one fact. Hashem said the Torah will never change. The Torah will never change, guys. No matter how much you think about it, Torah will never change. What does that mean, Torah will never change? They say in the future nobody's going to die. The prophet Isaiah, Yeshaya, says, Hana'ar ben me'a yamot. What will be considered a child that's dying in the future when Mashiach comes if he's 100 years old? It's a prophecy. Hana'ar ben me'a yamot. A child will be 100. To be considered a child, if he's 100 years old. How will he die? From a snake's bite. There's no natural cause of death. There's no unnatural cause of death. You understand what I'm saying? Unbelievable. Who could wait for Mashiach's time? In fact, there's a famous Rindrash that Mashiach wants to come. But what does he do? He comes down to all the shuls and he wants to hear why he wants Mashiach to come. This guy says because he wants to live a long life. This guy says he wants parnasa. This guy says he wants to find his bat zug. This one says he wants to have a son. This one says he wants to have a daughter. Mashiach says, I'm coming for these people. I'm coming letaken olam malchut Shaddai. I'm coming to reveal God's presence. I'm not coming for your own personal benefits. That's not why Mashiach comes to you, for you to live all your life on Hawaii and I don't want to say the rest. You know what goes on in Hawaii, right? That's how my Mashiach comes, guys. Mashiach comes, the people are going to be chilonim, are going to be in for a rude awakening. All day, what are you doing? Learning Torah. Give me a bullet and a gun. I can barely spend 1 hour a week. You're sending me for all day learning Torah? I want to tell you guys a secret. Today I bought a book. I didn't buy a book. I borrowed a book, but I'm going to buy it. Even though I'm going to finish it, I'm going to buy it. It's called Coming Back Down to Earth. It's such an amazing book. I don't think I've ever finished a book in a day like this, and it's 400 pages. I opened it and I didn't put it down until I finished it. I took it with me to the bathroom. I took it out. I couldn't put it down. 400 pages. Only Harry Potter fanatics used to do that back in the day. I got this book. Somebody gave it to me many years ago. I said to myself, I'm going to read about a guy who came back to Judaism. All I got to do is put it on YouTube. I'm going to hear thousands of lectures on it. I need to hear another guy writing a book. How he found God. Mazal tov. I have Torah. I don't need to read about that. This guy gave me this book. I didn't read it. So what did he do? He put it in the library in 71st, on the 3rd floor. Today I went to the kollel, I was learning, I went to the 3rd floor, I took out this book, Coming Back Down to Earth, by Gil Lux. This story recounts his personal experience going from a guru master. When I say guru master, no, you just saw a 10-minute clip. That's all you saw. You didn't read the book. This guy, he used to meditate 23 hours a day. You know what it means to meditate 23 hours a day? Meditation, 23 hours a day. He was able to breathe from one side of his nose up and bring down the air from the other side of it. Did you ever try that?
It's not easy.
What are you doing? No kidding, it's not easy.
What's his name again?
Gil Lux, Coming Back Down to Earth. Yeah, you search that, it's on Amazon actually. This guy, not did he just stop an elephant with his bare hands. When you used to come close to him, you used to feel a certain energy. People used to bow down to him like a god. In Central Park, he used to go like this. You want a diamond, for example? You like diamonds? You would say yes. He would go like this. There was a diamond in his hand. There's books. There were back in the day, in the 70s. There was katavot. There was interviews done on this guy. This guy was not just amazing. He was a master guru. He's Jewish. After 8 years, he left his wife and his kids to find God. He wanted to find God. After 8 years of being in Buddhism and Hinduism, he said, this is not working for me. Why? You know why? When I try to find a meaning to my life, and I've reached a certain state where I could become high by myself without anything for 23 hours a day, all I want to do when I wake up after the 24th hour is that. That's what he wrote in his book. He said, I used to come back to people used to donate him stuff. You used to see him, you want something, like he would want something, they would come and give it to him. I don't know, we're in Central Park. Buses, houses, acres of land. He used to say, I used to come back from a journey, I used to tell one of my students to make me a pyre. You know what that is? It's like it's like a whole pyramid of wood that used to set on fire, and he said I would lie down on it that night, so I should die already. So I already fulfilled what I wanted to do in life. I reached nirvana. I've reached the epitome of Buddhism. Of Hinduism. I did whatever I needed to do. He had close to 200 followers. I don't know where he didn't ask for it, and he wouldn't speak for 4 years. The Gemara says if you don't speak for 40 days, who do you see? Eliyahu Hanavi. This guy didn't speak for 4 years. He created his own sign language. Till today, sign language. There's a couple of different dialects, but different kinds of forms of sign language. He created one of them. I'm telling you, you gotta read this book.
This Jewish guy?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
Coming Back Down to Earth. And he said, after 8 years, I decided if the point of living is to die, then what's the point of living? And he heard about, I'm going to say this word even though I don't usually say it. I'm going to go out of my norm. He said, I found out about Christian healers. What is that? Till today there is these things. You go to Michigan, South Dakota, even in New York. I even heard of a case like this. I'm not going to say who because the person might listen to this. A Christian priest, Kritmach, touches you, you're in the wheelchair. You get up and start to walk. We all over here are looking for babas. You know what babas is? Do you know where the word baba comes from? After I read this book, I said I'm not going to call it Baba Sali anymore Baba Sali. You know what the word baba means? A mystical healer. The word is from India. Happens to be Moroccans use the same name for a holy man. I don't want to call him anymore that. Could you imagine a guy comes to a person, he can't walk for 3 weeks. A person is on heroin, he's bummed out, and he touches him, he gets up, he's off of heroin. Could you imagine? Would you believe in him? Would you believe he has powers? I think that many people would. I only heard about this afterwards, of religious people that went to these kinds of people to get rid of cancer.
To make it meditation, these people
No!
How?
When I heard this is how they do. You want to know how they do it? Maybe I shouldn't say, but it's written in the book. You can read it for yourself.
Brazil.
Huh?
In Brazil.
No, they don't have to go to the statue.
Christianity.
When you put your mind, you're fixated on something. You're fixated on something. To the point where you say it so many times that tears come out of your eyes, and you do it day after day after day, you start to form a certain energy inside of you. You say, that's what they say, I want, R.Shalom, JC, I want you in my heart, which is the greatest, dumbest thing you could say in your life, because if he's God, why isn't he in your heart? Okay, they're Avodah Zarah, it's obvious. I want him! And they say it again, tears start coming out of your eyes. And you do it day after day after day after day, you start to form a certain energy. You could touch people. They even give classes on this. And you could pick people off of wheelchairs. People who can't walk, you can make them walk again. I've heard of one, I don't want to say his name, certain rabbi who does such things. He passed away already. When I first saw him, I said, I don't like what he's doing. I felt there was something wrong going on with this rabbi. He already passed away. I said there's something wrong. What he's doing is unnatural. It's not Judaic. And after he left Kritmachism, he was in Hawaii. Who said something about Hawaii over here? I did. He was in Hawaii. People in Hawaii get something that's called island fever. You know what island fever is? When you're in a place for too long, you start to go nuts. Because you see the same wall, same ocean for the past month. How much could you see the same thing? Could you imagine the power of a rabbi? He sees the same page, the same book his whole life. He doesn't go crazy. People are running to babas. Bless me, heal me, do this to me, make me this, make me that. Rabbi side. And he says one sentence in there that changed. Personally speaking, I read it today. It already changed my life today. What's the difference between Judaism and all those other religions and cults that you could actually feel it? And this one, it takes you maybe till the end of your life. You still won't feel it. You know what the difference is? In all the other ones, it's totally theoretical. You just follow the guru. You just follow the priest. You don't do anything. Just follow the leader, and he's going to do everything for you. Feel the energy from him. For example, there are something in the city, it's very, very popular. It's called Zen Masters. What is Zen? Believe that the world is nothing. That's it. The world is just nothing. You're living in an illusion. What's Buddhism? Believe in the 8-figured light. This is crazy stuff that I'm telling you guys. Yeah, they have this thing with the 8-figured light. Believe in the 8-figured. It's called Nirvana, whatever it's called. It's The famous song in the 90s made up of it. It was a band actually after it. If you believe in it, you just have to believe. That's the problem. You just have to believe. You believe, you're the greatest follower that was since the first one. Krit Machism. If they would have come to Osama bin Laden, the second before he died, and they would have said, "Do you accept JC?" and he would have said yes, guess what? According to Christianity, Hashem should forgive me, he would have gone straight to heaven. That's what it is. That's what it is. Judaism has one main difference. It's called coming back down to earth. The spiritual has no relevation without the physical. Everyone could be a rabbi. Everyone could be a Talmid Chacham. Everyone could be a Chazan. Everybody could be a Mohel. Everybody could be a Shochet. There are no holds. There was this one rabbi, I never forget this story. And this story, this is the juice of Judaism. He was just coming back to Judaism and he was a hippie. Hippie in the 80s, 70s meant you wear overalls with a shirt that's like a bib. You wore the same pants for the past thing, and maybe some long hair for some spice. And some stuff in your pocket that you don't want anybody to know. That's what hippie was back then. Today, hippies are much worse. I call it de-evolving. Instead of going up, they went down. So this guy, he went to a shul in Los Angeles. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about Los Angeles. They make 71st Bukhari Jewish Center make it look like a cabin. They make it look like, well, this shul is the 71st. That's what they make 71st look to them. If anybody over there doesn't wear a Dior belt or whatever the case is, Hermes, there's nothing on their body worth less than $1,000. This guy, this rabbi, he walks into the shul. He wasn't a rabbi back then. He walks inside the shul. He said, I still remember how they looked at me that day. I still remember it. He said there were 100 faces fixated on me, judging me for the way I look. He said, I felt an energy pushing me out of the shul, pushing me out. Like, I felt that I was not wanted over here. Because if you don't wear a $1,000 wig, then you're not worthy to sit in the women's section. And if you don't wear Prada shoes, you're not worthy to sit in the men's section. That's not Judaism. That's atheism. He said, I was about to give up on Judaism that day. I was about to give up. If this is what Jews is about, I don't want to deal with it. He turned around. On his way home, he used to live in a van. Where's the hippie now? The big Star of David that said, yeah, God. Is that a true story or was it? I can't make up these details. He turns to the thing and he finds the rabbi of the Chabad in Los Angeles. It was a city in Los Angeles. What was the name of the city? Santa Monica. Can I make up a detail like that? I never heard that name before today. I'm serious.
Yeah, you have to be my bad.
I don't know the West. I'm in the East. Yeah, I'm in the East.
Yeah. You might like the West.
I'm not going there. So he goes, he finds that, and where was the Chabad house where they used to pray? In the back of the rabbi's shul, and basically they turned the garage house into what? In a shul. That was in the 70s. Today, you go to the Chabad house in Santa Monica, it's He goes inside the shul, and he sees from he said, I want to check it out. He looks inside the window. Back then, people used to smoke. It wasn't taboo. Today, if a person smokes a cigarette, he's a killer. 3 guys inside in the shed were smoking a cigarette. 2 guys were making coffee. They were waiting for a guy to make a minyan. He says, I'm going to walk inside the shul. He walks inside. He said, I thought that they were going to jump on me right now. One guy comes up to him, big guy, Chabadnik. Half Chabad, half Gur. In the Hasidim, the Gur Hasidim, they're the biggest. Like 3 guys is 1 guy by them. They're huge. Gur Hasidim. They actually get along with Chabad. That's why they lo chashuv. He goes up to him, big guy. He looks like a Viking from back in the olden days. He never went to the dentist, so he had like 1 tooth like this, and 1 tooth, this is how it writes, and 1 tooth like that. He puts his hand around the guy. He said, "Can I make you a cup of coffee before mincha?" And he felt an overflow, an abundance of acceptance and love. He said, "I never left that shul to this day." You guys don't understand one thing. You go to a guy in the street, Rebbe. You go to a guy in the street, and you tell him, "Put on tefillin." He looks Jewish. His nose is Jewish. No, I'm kidding. His face is Jewish. And you tell him, "Put on tefillin." Sometimes it could be sakanat nefashot. Why? What? You embarrassing me? You want me to wear leather boxes? What are you in? I don't want to say what they say. What are you into this, into that? There's a book a guy wrote, "My experiences I'm trying to put tefillin on people." There's a book he wrote on it. Mike, could you ever listen to this thing? The guy said, one time I was sitting, putting on tefillin for someone, and I saw this non-religious person. I knew he was Jewish. I said, "You want to put on tefillin?" He started to yell at me, scream at me, "How dare you? You're still into these old things. You want to embarrass me in public?" He said, at that moment, I was 16 years old. I hoped that the earth would open up and swallow me whole inside. This guy embarrassed him so much. I mean, he thought he embarrassed him. He said, "I wish I would have died." He writes in his story, 7 years later, I meet this guy fully religious, fully observant. I don't like to use the word religious. It's a Christian word. Fully observant. He asked him, "How did you become observant?" He looked at him and he said, "Because of you." It's a true story. And he said to him, "How?" He said, "When I scram at you that day, I was walking down the block after I left, and I said to myself, look what kind of depth, look how low I've become, that I would scream at another Jew for asking me to do a mitzvah. I went home and I put on my own pair of tefillin that day, and I never stopped putting it on." You don't know what kind of effect you're going to have on people. You don't know, Rabbi Isai. Everyone over here is a diamond. Every Jew that would come on a Wednesday night to listen to Torah when he has, I wouldn't say better things to do, but other things to do, he's a diamond in the rough. Everyone over here could be a tzaddik yesod olam. The problem is that we don't know our own worth. You don't know how much you're worth. You want to know how much you're worth. You say, how much this person thinks of me, how much my family thinks of me. I'll give you guys an example. The Lubavitcher Rebbe. Tzaddik Yesod Olam. He used to say the mark of a Jew is 2 things. A beard. And did your grandfather have a beard? In Bukhara, did he have a beard or no? Yes. Did your great-grandfather have a beard? Yes. Did your great Moshe Rabbeinu had a beard or no?
Yeah.
If you would draw Moses, would you draw him with a beard?
Yeah.
Would you draw him with pilot? Yeah. We all want to be like Moses or no?
Yeah.
That was good. But don't push it, okay? So how come we don't have beards? How come we don't have beards? How is it possible that a person says to himself, I take upon myself to grow a beard, and suddenly he finds himself a wife, he has a ben zachar, he finds himself a job. I'll never forget this story, Rabotai, never forget this story. It was during the 3 weeks. Rav Moshe Feinstein writes in Migrot Moshe. Rav Moshe Feinstein, who used to answer a phone call, the Dayan, the Tzaddik, the Rosh Yeshiva of all of America, even Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach used to listen to his psakim. You know what Rosh Zalman Auerbach was? He used to know physics. He has a book on physics, Rav Moshe Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, on physics. I took physics, I passed, but I was in Turo College. Imagine I have taken it in somewhere else. Physics, yes. He wrote about electricity on Shabbat in the 80s. It's called Melechet Shlomo. When Rav Moshe used to say a psak, you know what he used to say? If the posek of the world said something, who am I to say anything else? That was Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. I was like, Rav Moshe. And they grow to Moshe says something amazing. He says a story during the 3 weeks. Sfaradim are allowed to shave during the 3 weeks. Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Except on... No? The week of. This year, is there a week of? No. Ashkenazim and people who follow the Ariya Kadosh don't shave from when? 17th of Tammuz.
That's what you follow?
I followed it already from Pesach. I mean, I don't know if you can say I followed her. Same thing, doesn't make a difference. One time, one guy came to Rav Moshe Feinstein. This was in the 90s when people were still making money. And he said to Rav Moshe Feinstein, I have this interview. If I'm going to get the job, Morai V'Rabotai, I'm going to open up you a yeshiva. Oh, no, yeshiva, mashul. Rav Moshe says you can't shave, you're Ashkenazim. Ashkenazim don't shave for the 17th of Tammuz. They take showers. Don't confuse the two. He says you gotta shave. I gotta shave because I can't shave. How am I gonna go to a interview in the city with a beard? I'm gonna look like I just came out of the 70s. Moshe says, do you know that everything is God? Did you know when you do an Avera, God is right there next to you? The guy was taken aback. Could you imagine if you would feel before you would do a sin that God is sitting right next to you and looking at you? Looks pretty good. Would you do the Avera? Now you know what free will really means. Free will is just you don't know that God is there. You don't feel that God is there. That's all free will is. And who wills that to be? Hashem. It's free will. And we all don't have Averot here, right? The Gemara says, "Ein tzaddik ba'aretz shelo yirkada." And even the tzaddik sins. So even tzaddikim have free will. I don't want to get to the... Hey, don't start me on that. He says, you're not allowed to shave during the 3 weeks, he told him. The Ashkenazi, he was an Ashkenaz. He says, I gotta shave. If I make this job, I'm gonna make money. Kesef. I like kesef. The day of the interview came and he had that shaver in his hand. He was standing in front of the mirror. He turned on that shaver. Shave, not to shave. Shave, not to shave. Shave, not to shave. It was his test. The test, by the way. I want to let you guys know one thing. According to Kabbalah, I don't like using the word either. According to our Tasod. I make myself a new dictionary. According to our Tasod, every time you have a test, the harder it is to overcome it, that means you fell on it, that you fell on this same test many times before. Because a mitzvah is a light. What is light? If I look at light, what color is it? Is it a universal light? If I see light, is it one color? Me and you are going to see light. Is it the same color?
No.
What do you say? I'm saying... What? It's the same light, right?
Yeah.
When does light change color? When you bend it. When you bend light. Anybody who take a Right. What's UV light? It's all the way at the end of the prism, right? It's the top opposite end. Light is really one color. It's not even a color. It's a thing. It's really an entity. When you bend it, you get different colors, right? For example, the two most universal colors are black and white. Why? Because they're really the same thing. Each color, black and white, really include all the other colors. That's where Taoism comes in. Pure Avodah Zarah, yin and yang. Yin and yang, it's called Taoism. All you have to do is believe that there is black and white in the world, and you're a chassid. That's what it is. Judaism, there's no such kind of thing. It's less light. It's just Hashem. We don't believe that Hashem bends. Ani Hashem lo shaniti. If any other time a guy that believes in Krit Machism, Machshemam, comes up to you and says like this: there is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Marfusha. And you gotta tell him like this. You gotta open up the Old Testament, because in their Bible there's the 5 books and the New Testament. Machshemam. Here's like this. It says in Parshat Ha'azinu, Ani Hashem, I am God, lo shaniti, I never changed. How does your theory of God match this one? I want to know. You know what he's going to do? He's like, God, says you want a bottle of milk? Put it inside. Das vidanya. Many years ago, I met a missionary on Main Street. This was many years ago. I was single. I think it was with you, actually. It was with you. He was giving out discs of, it had an Israel copy on it, had an Israel flag on it. They were giving out to every single house. And inside, you remember that? It was inside that disc was really a missionary trying to convince Jews to convert to.
I had those in my house.
Yeah. I got so angry, and there's a mitzvah called Ubi'arta hara mikirbecha. May you destroy all the evil in your midst. We went to every single house, no fear. Me and this side over here, and I think it was my brother was with us. My brother, we went and we collected. Goyim were opening it up. What are you doing in front of my brothers? Nothing. We're just taking our disc back. We were collecting this. We had like 2, 3 full garbage bags, and we lit that thing on fire. I remember the Chinese person in three houses down came out. What do you guys? I don't know. I can't make a Chinese accent, but you could imagine. What are you guys doing over here? This and that. Relax, lady. We're doing a mitzvah. Take it easy. It's gonna be over in an hour. Relax. We burnt that thing. It was a great mitzvah, and I really wouldn't say it to you guys only to set an example. Because it was really a pure mitzvah. It was really a pure mitzvah, Rabbi said. There's Avodah Zarah in our midst. This guy, he went to the interview, and guess what? He shaved his beard. He shaved at the end. He couldn't hold it in. He shaved. And guess who was his interviewer? A Jew. An Orthodox Jew. Because what, you don't keep the 3 weeks? A guy who can't stay loyal to his religion can't stay loyal to his business. That's Svidanya. That's Svidanya Abbashit. And he lost. If you don't believe that Hashem does everything for the best reason possible in your life, you got to start working on your emunah. Higher your bitachon. And then you get gimel, your geula. They even made a song about it. Shway. Rabotai, there's a lot to say. I know it's late. I'm just going to end with one small tidbit. We started out the shiur by saying a sigula for having baby boys, but I didn't say it. I gotta say it. It's not fair. My Mafraim was the original one. But the one I said on Shabbat, I'm going to say today. The Balatanya says, he had 3 girls. 3 girls. Now, you guys could imagine, we think Bukharians are bad. Trust me, Hasidim are 10 times worse. When I went with my wife once to a doctor, they said to us, the doctor, he was secular. He said, "Oh, I already know." He said, "The Hasidim come here with the Mavla and the Tatala and the Babala and all that." That's R.Shalom. Hasidim had bad, especially the olden times. So he didn't have a baby boy. He had 3 girls. And you won't need to have a baby boy. Why? Periavarivi. You're thinking about your name. Periavarivi, Jonah. You gotta have a boy and a girl. So he went to his Rebbe, Rav Dov Ber Mezrich, the Magid Ben Mezrich. He learned by him for close to 14, 20 years, the Balatanya. Had more as a kid. And every time he came to him to ask for a boy, he used to say like this. You know, not now, not now. He used to push him off Bakash. When the Rebbe says something, you listen. It was a week before his death. And he said to him, "Listen, I can't bless you with a boy, but I'll bless you. I'll give you a sigula. Any person who brings guests to his house and he doesn't complain about it even in his heart. That means he enjoys bringing guests to his house, which is pretty tough, especially if they like to sleep over unintended. You might look at me like that, but yes, it happens. Personal experience. He's going to have a baby boy. Because that's how the Baal Shem Tov was born to this world. If you want to have a boy, you have to do the same exact thing. And exactly a year after his Rebbe passed away, his first son was born. And he called him after his Rebbe, Dov Ber. And this Rebbe, this boy, was going to be the second Rebbe of Chabad, and he was born and passed away on the same day. Wow, amazing. Why? I'm just going to explain the Sigula, because there's always there's something behind it. Why is bringing in guests a Sigula for a baby boy? A boy is called a Zachar. Zachar means to give. If you don't know how to give, you cannot have a giver. You have to learn, Rabbi said, how to give. Once you give, you get. You finishing my sentences over here? Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hanan ben Akashia Omer,